Welcome to the Pump Take Sports Show, part 2 of our Sunday recap. This one's going to be more focused on our Monday Night Football bets and predictions, parlays, money lines, everything that we're trying to put some money in your pocket. Because, I mean, let's be honest, we could all use that a little bit. And what better way than betting on sports to get your money? This guy on my left has made quite a bit. So we are credible to some extent. So the first game of the Monday Night Football, can you even call it Monday night? It's at like 5 o'clock. Steelers
Is it at 5 o'clock?
Washington, something like that.
Let me look.
Something like that.
Yes, it is. It's 5 p.m.
Yeah, 5 p.m. So
Wow.
Monday afternoon football. The footballers versus the Steelers. Let me just preface by saying I'm the biggest Washington football team supporter that you'll find. I think they're great. I love the Washington football team. As Aidan knows, on our NFC East prediction video, they're my pick to win the division. The Giants clearly are looking great right now, but I'm not saying the footballers are going to win this game. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think it's impossible that they win this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few bets that I like. I could potentially see Washington at plus 6.5. But I'm not going to bet it. I don't have the gusto to bet that. Like, I can't put money on Washington against Pittsburgh, but I could see it happening.
100%. Yeah, this is actually it's something I was going to say for the Giants game, but obviously with Giants radio, we ran out of time.
Yeah.
Just about the nature of the NFL and like how basically any given week, team A can walk in and beat Team B, even if Team A is way worse. Like, it's not like the NBA where it's like at some point, if you're facing the Lakers in the playoffs and you're the 8th seed, like you're just not winning that. You're just not winning that series. It's just not happening. Whereas in the NFL, it's like literally Washington could march into Heinz Field today and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it would be surprising, but it wouldn't be like it wouldn't even be the craziest upset of the week.
No.
Let alone in this year or in the NFL history or anything like that. So I agree with you. I'm more on the side of Pittsburgh -7. I'm not going to bet this game, just because of the craziness of this week in the NFL in general. It just is too. It kind of smells. But I like Pittsburgh -7 just because, like, I feel like, and I'm on this too. I feel like Pittsburgh has been, like, they're an undefeated team, but no one who's really into the NFL really, like, no one who's into the NFL is really saying this is the best team in the league. In my opinion, I'm not confident that they're even a top 3 team, which might sound crazy, but it's just the way that I look at elite teams need elite quarterbacks, in my opinion. And the Steelers just don't really have that with Big Ben, but they're still an awesome team. Don't get me wrong. They're unquestionably top 5. And even though they've had an easy schedule, I think the fact that they're a bit lower in public perception because of kind of narrowly beating teams like Baltimore's practice squad and Dallas's practice squad, I think it's kind of lowered their public perception. So I kind of like that, because this line should probably be and also Washington has been really good these past few weeks.
Yeah.
But I think the line should probably be a little bit lean more in Pittsburgh's favor than -7. And obviously they're at home too, for what that's worth, in 2020. So that's how I lean. You obviously like Washington.
No, don't get me wrong. I do like. I just had to say it because I do. Okay, if you put a gun to my head, said who's going to win this game, the Steelers are going to win this game.
Obviously, yeah.
But part of me, the thing that bubbles up inside when I see these numbers looking at me, is telling me that Washington at plus 6.5 is kind of enticing me. Don't bet it. Don't listen to me. I'm not going to bet it either, but I'm just saying. I guess it's more just credit to the football team about the fact that I kind of like that number rather than it is like good to bet, if that makes any sense.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, don't bet that. But yeah, I think the Steelers will win this game.
The footballs deserve a lot of credit. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think they're still 100% in play to win the division because their schedule is a lot easier than the Giants' schedule going forward. And Philadelphia out because of the nature of the division. It's probably a 2-man race at this point. But anything can happen. Just thinking realistically. And Washington can win this game, but the more I think about it, I just really like Pittsburgh. Like if Pittsburgh's winning this game, do you really see it being a close game? Like I feel like it's either going to be a close game that Washington wins, or it's going to be just a blowout and the Steelers just destroy it.
Yeah. And
So the more I think about it, the more I like it.
Too. Yeah, I
What's
kind of
that?
like the under. I kind of like the under on this game, and I don't bet unders ever, but I think the under's like 43.5. And I kind of
just checked. I don't know. I could see that one going either way. Really, it is kind of an enigma of a game. Like it's gonna go one of two ways. I feel like, and you know, I don't really have a lean on really how that's gonna go. So, I believe the Steelers will win, but just in terms of, you know, this could be like a game where Pittsburgh scores 43 points on their own, is what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Could go either way. Marco, do you have anything to add before I move into my prop bet?
No, not really. I think you guys kind of covered everything. I'm on the exact same wave, and I think, yeah, if you were gonna maybe do something, you could bet the over on total points, thinking that it's going to go that way and just be a blowout, or you could bet the under, thinking it's going to be like a, you know, close fought game. But
absolutely, and the defensive game at that,
but because of the variability, like it could just be a game that you just stay away from.
Yeah, it's a no.
I'm gonna do.
I think that's kind of our consensus is between the three of us. It's definitely a no bet here on any of those things. But the player parlay, let me know what you guys think about this, that I've kind of put together for this game, is Ben Roethlisberger will have at least 2 passing TDs at minus 200. Alex Smith will have at least 2 passing TDs at plus 152. Like that. I'm loving plus money on quarterback touchdowns. And Eric Ebron will have over 3.5 receptions. So the Ebron piece at the end, that's at minus 143, by the way. So all that put together on my bookie is plus 340. So you're getting 340 on your dollar or whatever. Anyway, I like the Ebron piece of this because in the last 2 weeks, he's had 18 targets. 11 of those coming against Baltimore, which is a good defense, similar to Washington. So I think when Ben is getting a little bit more pressure than maybe he would if he was playing against the Jumbo Jets, he likes to check down. 18 targets in 2 weeks. All he has to do is catch 4, right? And last week he had 11. I think he had like 8 or 9 catches. So I love that number. Do you guys have anything to add for bets for this game?
So I have a bet of my own that I want to put out here, but first I just want to say a couple things. The Big Ben thing I do like. I feel like this is kind of this is a game where Big Ben is going to be throwing multiple touchdowns. I'm not going to say too much about that. I will say I agree with you 100% about the Ebron one. He's been getting targeted like crazy, and I think a big reason why that is because the Steelers have, at least last week, there's been a couple weeks before that, but they've faced defenses that are really good against wide receivers, and so it kind of leaves the middle of the field more open for somebody like Ebron to be catching passes, and that's where Big Ben's going. So it's just kind of funneling towards the tight end position. And it's the same thing with Washington. Their secondary, their corners have been really good this year overall. Like Kendall Fuller and what's his name? Ronald Darby. They are being slept on. So I think this could be another game where it sort of funnels towards Ebron. I like that a lot. I do not like as much the Alex Smith touchdowns, just because like I'm wondering where are they going to come from. Like I guess I could see one out of the backfield to Gibson or McKissick, and obviously McLaurin is always a threat to score.
That's it right there, man. I mean, you're getting. I don't love it either, but you're getting plus 152 on it, and I think the Ben and Ebron thing are so. I don't want to say guaranteed because nothing's guaranteed, but I like those so much that to get the money up just a little bit more on the reliant that Alex Smith can just throw 2 touchdowns, I think Washington could score. I don't want to say 20. I don't think they're going to score 27. 21. They could be around the 21 area in this game. I think they will score 14. So, I mean.
The over on the Bucks is 18 or 18.5.
For Washington.
Yeah. That's their over under.
18.5. I'm a sucker for this Washington team, man. Like
I know. Yeah. Steelers defense is so good, though, bro.
Exactly. That's one thing I was going to say. And the other thing is Alex Smith is not the type of quarterback who's going to be taking shots downfield. Like this isn't like, this like if you're getting a touchdown, it's going to have to come in the red zone, or it's going to have to be a yards after catch play from somebody like Terry McLaurin or Gibson or something like that. Like Alex Smith is not going to be tossing dimes down the field, and that's what scares me about this number. And if let's say he throws one of those touchdown passes, there's also a good chance it's the other, like, let's say they score 18 points, that's only 2 touchdowns. There's a good chance one of them is a rushing touchdown.
Backfield. Yep. And then I guess what I'm just hoping is that one of them, sure, one of them's out of the backfield, he throws one, and then maybe they score another one in the late drive to kind of make it close with Pittsburgh. So I totally hear what you're saying. That's just something that I'm going to be
right. Betting. Well, I say all that just to say I think there's another one that I have here that you would really like. And that's J.D. McKissic over 3.5 receptions. I think that's a really low number for J.D. McKissic. Really especially because, I mean, we've all said it. This game could go either way, but we expect Washington to be trailing. We expect that to happen, and that means the game script is going to be in favor of J.D. McKissic. He's going to be on the field, and he's going to be catching passes. And in games that Washington has lost, he's only not hit the over on 3.5 receptions twice. One of them was in week 2 where he had 0, and one of them was in week 3 where he had 3, and they were still figuring out their RB rotation.
Exactly what I was going to say, man. He didn't even have his position like loaded in that backfield yet.
Yeah.
And now look at where he is. Look how far they've come. Yeah. No, I love that.
He smashes that number in most games that Washington has lost. So I think this is pretty much a lock. If that's something you wanted to throw into the parlay that Jake suggested, whether you add it or whether you take out the Alex Smith touchdowns like I suggested, I think that's that's pretty much as close to free money as you can get, assuming this is all contingent on Pittsburgh winning, of course.
Yeah, no, I would say, like, I didn't see that number when I was looking through it this morning, putting my notes together for the show. Take out the Alex Smith number, put in that number. J.D. McKissic is going to, like, I love that just as much as I like the Ebron number. And then all we need is Big Ben to throw 2 touchdowns. That's a great bet for the show. I think you guys should hammer that personally.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
To move on to the next game, the Buffalo Bills, Marquis team, versus the San Francisco 49ers. So the money line and the spread are very down the middle for this game. Vegas is not sure about this game at all. Buffalo is the underdog, I believe, in this game.
They are.
But I wouldn't bet this once again.
I see it as a pick 'em. Where are you guys seeing underdog?
For me, I'm on Betway. But
I see. Okay.
Betway has it. Buffalo Bills are decently significant underdogs. Betway doesn't do the minus plus thing. They just have Buffalo at 210 and San Francisco at 176, which essentially means if you bet $1, you'd make 76 cents.
Right.
And if you bet $1 on the Bills, you'd make $1.10. So you'd make 210,
it's so down the
whatever.
middle.
It is very down the middle. I definitely see like value in the underdog of Buffalo. I mean, I am biased because I'm a Buffalo fan, but the 49ers are 5-6 and Buffalo are 8-3. And although the 49ers did have a great game last week, they have a couple players back that really impact their team. I don't know. I think I see value in the Buffalo, or maybe even just betting the spread, just Buffalo at +2. But I don't know. You guys take it away, and I can just hop in later. But
yeah,
for the betting, I would say I think Buffalo will win this game. Buffalo is my pick to win this game, but I will say that personally, the money there's not enough there to risk betting on it. I do think they're going to win, but you're not getting enough back to make it a worthwhile investment. I think you would have to lay a lot of money down to actually make anything back on the Bills. And that's, the Niners aren't a pushover either. So I personally won't be betting on that, but I do see what you mean.
Sorry, I think a bet that I'm going to make tonight is Bills and over 47.5. And I might parlay that just with like a Steelers and and the over for, or not the over for the Steelers game, but Steelers point spread as well. Just to, I like it, but yeah, you guys can.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say, with regards to the spread, like I was preparing for this game, and I was like, man, I'm ready to bet the Niners. Like, what are they? They're probably like a 7-point underdog at least. I like the. I go and look, and it's a pick 'em. I'm like, what is happening here? I mean, you guys know, I'm not a fan of this Bills team relative to what the public thinks about them. I don't hate them or anything, but this is crazy to me. I think the Bills, like the Niners win one game against their division rival Rams, the division rival Rams team, and like people are ready to hop back in on the Niners, I guess. Like what's going on here? Like their defense has been awesome, but they're still missing some really important pieces on their offense with Kittle and Jimmy G, and there's some others. Like this should not be a pick 'em to me. There is massive value on the Bills here. The Bills are unquestionably the better team in this game. I can't believe this. And if you're getting points with the Bills, Marco, on Betway, wow, like I would take that in a heartbeat. I think this is like, I get like, it's not even like the 49ers get home field advantage. Like this is technically a home game on their schedule, but they're in Arizona. So this is crazy to me. I don't think I've ever seen a spread that has been so off of what I would have expected.
Crazy. I looked at it, it was right down the middle. I'm thinking, whoa, what the hell's going on? Do they think the Niners are like the Niners of last year or something? Like, they have Mullins at QB. Like, the books know that, I would think.
Right. I don't know. Like the Bills are just a better overall team. Like again, the 49ers defense looks really nice lately. Like they're virtually back to full strength just without Bosa and Ford really. But they're still awesome. Like they got Sherman back. But it's just like look at what the Bills have done and look at what the Niners have done even just recently. Like the Bills are the better team here.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously I'm biased, but it's pretty clear to me. Like that's what I was going to bring up, that there just is value. Like even if you think that these teams are equal, or you think that it's going to be a tight game, because I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. It could, but so could any game ever. But I think that it will be a competitive game just because the 49ers do have those pieces back and they do have a good defense, and Sherman had a great game last game and all of that stuff, right? Like it's a tough win beating the Rams. The Rams are looking awesome this year as well. So they're, hot on the heels. They feel good probably coming into this game. But like there just is value in the Bills. Like they're just the better team this year. They've proven it all season that they're better. They're 8-3 coming in, and we need a win with like the Dolphins being close and as well, and like the Patriots pulling off big wins against the Cardinals, and then also pulling off a 45-0 win against the Chargers as well. But yeah, so I think there's massive value, especially if you're on a betting site that has the Bills at like significant underdogs, or even just remote underdogs like mine. So yeah, I'll definitely be betting the Bills, as well as Josh Allen, 1.5 touchdowns, throwing touchdowns. I'm going to be betting the over on that as well. And I'll be betting the over on total points at over 47.5 points as well. So I think those are the things I'll be betting.
To add in, Marky, I have two things in a parlay, and Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns is in it for me as well.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's just going to do this. Like, it's not, I just think he will. Like, I don't really have the rationale for it. I've watched almost every Bills game this year, and the guy just bombs it down the field, and they get in the red zone. The Bills offense is going to score more than 3 touchdowns, I think, today. And so Josh is probably going to throw 2 of those. And so, yeah, Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And the other one is Cole Beasley over 4.5 receptions.
I like that as well.
Cole Beasley gets peppered with targets. I don't actually have the target numbers like I did with Ebron, but I do play against him in fantasy a lot. And my goodness, Cole Beasley puts up unbelievable numbers. There are drives in Bills games where Cole Beasley's the only guy getting targeted down the field.
Yeah, there could literally be a drive where he gets 4 targets in one drive.
Yeah, absolutely there could be. So those are my two numbers. And Aidan, if you have anything else to add on the parlay.
Yeah, I definitely do. I'll start out by saying I would be careful with the Josh Allen touchdowns. Just for a couple of reasons. One, it's like we were saying about the Niners defense, but also they aren't a defense that allows big plays. Specifically, always those are the best defenses, but they make it their priority. They don't allow these big plays down the field when they're at full strength. So I don't think you're going to be getting a lot of these like deep, Stephon Diggs bombs or anything like that. I think a lot of it is going to have to come closer to the end zone. And at that point, anything could happen. It could be, it could be a Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Like this could be a game where he has multiple rushing touchdowns. I wouldn't be shocked about that.
That's a good bet as well. Just a Josh Allen rushing touchdown is nice.
Yeah. But then so I just be careful with that. I don't, like I said, Josh Allen is just a different beast. Like he can score multiple touchdowns in a game where you don't expect him to. That's just the type of player he is. But I would just be careful for a number of reasons. And some of them are what I'm going to say here with my prop bet that I have that I like in this game, which is Josh Allen under 266.5 passing yards. A little to start out the season lately in terms of this number specifically. He hasn't been over 160 passing yards in 3 of his last 6 games. Obviously, that's well under 266. He's been a little bit more careless with the football in terms of turning it over as well. As with Sherman back and looking good, they may be able to take advantage of that. And also, Josh Allen, he has a minor ankle injury, I think, which may mean that he will rely on his rushing ability a little bit less, and he'll sit back in the pocket. And that's just not something you really want to do against this 49ers offense. Like when you are the Bills, you want Josh Allen to be able to take advantage of his full skill set running the ball, where he is like one of the best quarterbacks in the league running the ball. And I don't trust Mullins on the other side, which is why I'm very confident that the Bills will win this. But I just be careful in terms of Josh Allen passing numbers. Like I said, I'm not saying this is something where he's definitely gonna go under on touchdowns and passing yards. But I could see it. I could see it smashing. But also, there's a good reason to be worried about it being under as well.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying. Like he has huge games where he just blows numbers like that out of the water, but then he also has some games where it's just kind of like a dud. Like even against the Chargers, like we did come away with that win, but I think he only had like 180 yards or something.
Mm-hmm.
But so one interesting thing that I wanted to bring up is like the Bills' third down conversions were one of the best in the league. I think we're second or third in the league in third down conversions, and the 49ers are, I think, second or third in the league. We're top 5 in the league at stopping third down conversions. Yeah. So it'll definitely be an interesting matchup. I'm really excited. I can't wait to watch. It's going to be a good game.
That's a great point, Marco. The matchup is just what gets you worried here. Like I think Buffalo takes care of this team. It just is the question of how they're going to do it. Whether it's through the air, whether they rely more on the ground game because of this 49ers passing defense and their pass rush. It's just it's up in the air. I'm confident in Buffalo, but like I say, with regards to the props, there's a question.
And I think I speak for us all to say this is the most exciting game of the 3. So this is the game that I'm going to be looking forward to the most of the day. And the last game, Dallas Cowboys versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Dallas Cowboys are underdogs at plus 3.5, and the Ravens are the favorite at minus 365. The lines are subject to change, but that's what they are right now. The Ravens haven't looked great, but they have had a gauntlet schedule lately that has really held them back. This could be the Ravens' opportunity to do what the Ravens did last year and beat down a bad team.
Yeah. The Ravens love doing that. Not even just last year, but historically, this Ravens team, there's no better matchup than Ravens and beating up on bad teams.
Yeah.
I think the only question is how healthy are they? This is like the fringe matchup where you'll see like, okay, are the Ravens back yet? Are they not back yet? I I think if this game was in 2 weeks when we know a little bit more, because Lamar's coming back, obviously, but when we know a little bit more about where the whole team is, we're confident. But right, the Ravens love to smash bad teams, and the Cowboys are unquestionably a bad team.
Yeah, and to do it in the spotlight as well, that's something that they'll love to do when no one else, there's no other games on. There's a few numbers that I'll throw at you guys for this game. One being Tony Pollard will have at least 13 rushing yards at minus 303.
Wow,
Nice
that's a nice number. Yeah, I saw 22 somewhere, and I was tempted to put that on here.
Yeah,
but 13 is really.
Oh, absolutely, man. And they love to use Tony Pollard, especially in the recent games. The next two are both for the same player. Dalton Schultz will have at least 20 receiving yards, and Dalton Schultz will have at least 3 receptions. Both of those reasons kind of correlate. Andy Dalton loves to throw to Dalton Schultz, and also that the Ravens will be putting pressure on Andy to, he's going to be turning into a lot more checkdowns. So I could see both of those Dalton Schultz numbers hitting. I wasn't going to put this in the video, but Lamar, at least 169 passing yards. He is coming back. There's a chance for that. It's not, those other 3 are my more preferred ones, but that's also not bad. I do like that one at minus 294. So all those numbers are like over minus 200. So you're not getting a lot on them, but you put them together, you'll get a bit back. So I like all those numbers.
Yeah, I love every single one of those. You're gonna have to send me that after the game, because even the Lamar one I love. Like, this Cowboys defense is terrible against the pass. How is that only 169? Like, I get Lamar isn't, he's coming back from COVID, so there's that question. And he hasn't been tearing it up through the air at all by any means this year. But like, this is the Cowboys defense we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the Dalton Schultz thing, it's the same thing we said about Ebron. Like the passing game just funnels towards the middle of the field because of the Ravens secondary. Like, I love those Dalton Schultz numbers a lot. Just like we said, like Ebron got probably 10 plus targets last week.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Marky, do you have anything to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think I'm good. I think you guys covered it. I like both of the things that you've said, and I think the Lamar one's pretty obvious as well. The Cowboys defense.
Yeah, just before we wrap up, I did have one to add, and that's it's contingent on a couple of things, but it's Andy Dalton over 6.5 rushing yards. I like this if the Ravens get some of the key defenders back from injury, specifically Calais Campbell. But there's also some others like Jalen Ferguson, one of their edge rushers, and even Brandon Williams, who can push the pocket sometimes. Obviously, he's not known as like this elite rushing threat. Like, this isn't Lamar Jackson out here with Andy Dalton, to say the least. But he can scramble when he needs to. And I always like betting these quarterback over rushing yards when they're facing an elite pass rush.
That's why I was chuckling.
I was chuckling too, because the amount of times I bet quarterback rushing yards and Marco's sitting beside me and it's bitten me in the ass as the last part of the parlay. It's happened with Burrow. It's happened with Tannehill.
Yeah.
And like, this is just another situation. I'm not saying it's a bad number, but I have a bad history with quarterback rushing numbers. So I'm staying away. But I for all the reasons you said, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not like this is an elite pass rush anyway, so I can definitely see it. And I've had the exact same thing happen to me too. Yesterday I had 2 quarterback rushing stats in a parlay, and they both didn't hit. So it is a risky proposition, because especially with guys who don't have designed runs, because you never really know if they're even going to take off and run at all. But it's just, it's something that that is interesting. Like I say, if you think there's going to be a pass rush in this game.
6.5 is nothing as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you both for coming on. This has been a lot of fun today. We got fired up about our teams and had a good talk and gave some good numbers out. So, Aidan, I'll be sending you that number after the show. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're watching. We're so close to 100. That'll be a great fun thing if we get to 100. We'll get everyone on here and maybe do like a 100 subscriber thing. So
have some drinks.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. We'll have some drinks. It'd be a good time. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.